We are Gathering of the Geeks podcast and YouTube show built around the things we as geeks all love. Hashtag we gather on Sundays. Thanks for checking out the one about poor, sad Renfield. I'm one of your hosts, Emmet. I'm joined by the Ted Lasso to my coach Beard, Chris Evans. Chris, how's it going tonight?
Well,
Good.
how are you doing?
Yeah, good. Gathering of the Geeks is available on YouTube and wherever you get your podcast. Just search for us on those fine, lovely devices, and you'll find us right then and there. What's up, early Ian, Eric, and Phil? How's everybody doing on this fine Sunday evening? Chris, I didn't have any fun topics to start the show off. You got a funky one? You got anything? Curveball?
I did, but so right before Emmet and I went on, I hit the live button. I saw something on Twitter that is just kind of blindsided me.
We almost canceled the show, everybody.
I was going to just push it a few minutes. The Deadpool 3 trailer may have leaked, and so now I'm into that at the moment. I have no fun topic.
Just going to ask you a question, and you're just going to be like, what? Sorry, just 1 second.
I am waiting to see Wolverine in the headgear.
Yeah, your boy, Return of the King, right?
Return of the King, July 2024. We'll see him then.
So, are we thinking that's coming out for the Super Bowl in general?
Probably.
Yeah.
I just remembered the question. Are you a handy person?
I try to be, and I think if I watch enough YouTube videos, I can get something done.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
I like doing handy stuff. Earlier, I had to change the headlights on the car.
Oh, yeah, that's a good time.
That was a good time. They've made it pretty easy these days, but the thing is, you have to pull these covers off. And I don't know about you. I find pulling the cover off the most difficult thing in the world.
Like, you got to get around the back of the headlights, you mean?
Yeah, and you have to have, like, Mr. Fantastic stretching ability to get in there correctly. And then you have to use force to pull the cover off. And then try not to break the light thing, because it has like the wiring, and you can't rip it out.
You turn and twist and pull and
the turn and twist thing, and then when you twist it back, like, did I just crack the bulb because you can't see. So that was my question. I was wondering if you were handy. I try to be. I can do a lot of stuff if I have YouTube.
It's expensive if you're not. So like
that too.
Hiring people sucks.
I don't mind hiring people, but I like to do things myself whenever I can. And I mean, nobody's gonna change a headlight.
Yeah, so better get at it then.
Yeah, I did cut my hand also, which was fun.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, it was my own fault. I was trying to do it faster, pulling the cover off, and it went into the car. I'm fine. Just another day. Ate everybody else who came in. Got Zeddy, Cookie. Phil saw Oppenheimer again. That's a good time. I was listening to a podcast. I'm not going to name names because I like these people.
You are going to explain exactly what they said, so they're not going to know who they are. So.
They don't watch the show. If they do, I still like them. It's fine. But
all right.
They were watching Oppenheimer, and I guess they got bored or something. I don't remember. They turned it off, and they went to go watch the Adam Sandler film. And it's not like Billy Madison or, I don't know, Spanglish, something like that. It was Don't Mess with the Zohan, which to me is probably one of the worst films ever created. But that's just my opinion.
Not great.
Like what you like. I don't care. Anyway, they were more entertained by Don't Mess with the Zohan than they were Oppenheimer. And I think I felt that in my soul.
Are they not Christopher Nolan fans? Are they?
I think they are. It's just Oppenheimer is a bit much for people.
But Don't Mess with the Zohan is the choice.
I mean, it's an easy watch. I guess it's funny. Again, I like these people. There's nothing wrong with them. Like what you like. It's just that was weird to me.
That's an interesting idea. If they like when we were talking about this, what was it last week about movies that are hard to watch? Have you ever turned something off and then went to completely the other range of genre? Like, have you ever done something like that?
No, but what I'll do is, like, if I watch something heavier, I'll watch like a sitcom episode or two afterward, like a mental cleanse.
Yeah,
I don't think I would do Oppenheimer to Zohan though. That's
yeah.
To each their own, though, of course. I don't care. Do what you want to do.
It seems a bit much.
I don't care what. So, anyway.
Yeah. All right. Chris, what'd you get up to this week? We got a couple of things I think we both read. We can talk about, but what'd you watch? Anything different?
Yeah, I did watch a couple. I actually watched some movies. I watched some shows. I started the new Zorro series on Amazon. Have you heard about this?
No, you told me about it, and I didn't know what it was, and then I
Oh,
didn't
I
know
thought
it
you
was
looked it
a
up
foreign
afterwards or
language.
something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I watched the first episode so far. I kind of spaced out everything else I'm watching, and that every episode is on there at once, so I kind of want to take my time with it. But I thought it was pretty interesting. It's not the typical Zorro story. I don't think I know much about Zorro. That's what I'm realizing watching this. Because I think Zorro, I think of Antonio Banderas, those movies. To me, that's Zorro, and I like those movies.
Yeah.
This is a little bit different. Also, Zorro is played by Danny Rojas from Ted Lasso.
Amazing.
Yeah, I don't know his name, but it's funny because you know, the point of Zorro, you're not supposed to know who he is under the mask. As soon as I saw him, I was like, that's Danny.
Yeah.
mucho joy. It's great. But I like that a lot. The action is really cool. I like the action a lot. The story's okay. My only complaint with it would be that it looks like it was made for $4 and a couple of Happy Meals.
Mm-hmm.
It's really cheap looking. But
is the action okay, or is that what you?
I think that's where the budget went. I think the budget went to the action,
and
maybe some of the sets.
maybe
they don't look bad. It just they don't look like something you expect on Amazon, I guess, because you think of like Amazon. We have Lord of the Rings. We have Reacher. You know, those shows look like they have a proper budget. It's not like I'm picking on the show, but I'm not. I like the show so far. But I watched Zorro. I started the new Masters of the Universe Revolution series. That I'm 2 episodes in, like that a lot. But I also really like the other 2 seasons of this. I think Kevin Smith is doing some of his best work right now with He-Man and his universe. There's a lot of good stuff. And I think even if you aren't a fan of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, you can catch on really quick. It's easy to digest, and it's just fun.
The first series was the one that everyone hated because of some reason.
Yeah, it kind of depends who you ask. The first season doesn't have a lot of He-Man. It's mostly Teela. And that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way because they wanted to see He-Man, which I understand, but there was a story purpose for it to be the way it was. And then season 2, of course, has a lot of He-Man.
Perfect.
And then 3 is a different beast. You also have a new voice, like William Shatner is in this new one, Revolution.
Really? There you go.
Yeah, I was watching. I was like, "Is that William Shatner?" He is still around. He's still kicking.
Ooh, yeah, doing voice work for Netflix's He-Man. Right on.
Yeah, it's good. I like it.
Nice.
That's also all episodes at once, so I'm trying to pace it a bit more. But with that, they're about like 25 minutes each, and there's only 5 of them, so it's essentially like a 2.5 hour movie.
Right. Are they broken up into like that, or does it feel episodic, or does it feel like they kind of just?
No, you kind of you do want to watch it all in one sitting if you can.
Yeah.
I probably could have, but I just didn't. I was bouncing around doing other stuff.
It happens.
Yeah.
We went to a dollar store today, and my son actually bought. What is this Beast Man? You know Beast Man?
Yeah.
From He-Man. Okay, so I never heard of Beast Man before.
Skeletor's buddy.
Anyways, okay, so he got Beast Man today at the dollar store for $3 or something. It's about that big or whatever. So he was playing with that today. So I'm like, oh, that was pretty cool.
Well worth $3. Beast Man is cool.
Yeah, it's like sure, I had no problem buying him a He-Man toy.
Yeah, He-Man is cool. I like He-Man.
Yeah, my son, he was like, Dad, do you know what this is from? I'm like, yeah, I know He-Man. And he's like, man, I used to watch that show when I was a kid. He's like, oh, really? Who's your favorite character? I'm like, oh, I like the Battle Cats, man. Those are my favorite characters.
It's kind of interesting, but He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, they have been around since the 80s consistently. Like, there's usually been some type of Masters of the Universe animated series throughout all this time, but there's only been one movie.
Yeah, that seems strange, doesn't it? Seems like this could be a thing. Like it could be a franchise
I've been
other
wanting
than
to
just
see
Dolph
like,
Lundgren.
yeah, like the Game of Thrones or Lord of the Rings kind of take on it. I think that'd be
Yeah.
really fun on screen.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe one day. I know that they're working on something.
Mm-hmm. Maybe they're just testing it out with the animation stuff first.
Probably.
Yeah.
Would
Would you do it as a kid show or a kids movie?
No. Well,
Yeah.
I don't mean like make it hard R or something. I just mean I
Yeah.
think Lord of the Rings is the proper tone
Right.
because a
Okay.
kid can
That's
watch
fair.
that, an adult can watch that, everybody's happy.
Yep.
That's what I would do.
Nice.
We got a lot of comments here that I missed.
Mhm.
I think Zeddy was talking about. No, I wasn't talking about B39 about the Zohan thing.
We would have named you, Zeddy.
Yeah, I would say Zeddy
we're
is.
not afraid to name you. You
Yeah,
fools.
Zeddy is watching other things. No, Carlos is with us. Hey, Carlos.
Mm-hmm.
Dune 2 is going to be a colossal hit. Did you see it crashed the AMC website?
No, I didn't. I didn't know tickets were on sale yet.
Yeah, they crashed the AMC website. That's nuts.
Nice.
I'm really surprised by that because I think Dune is an interesting one since the first one was released during the pandemic and it was the day and date thing. So there's really no way to tell how it would have done.
Yeah, I'm going to be generally surprised if the movie does big box office wise.
I think it might.
Yeah, and I think it might too. The closer we get to it, but I will be actually surprised if that happens. Just because the genre, like I get like the fantasy aspect to it, but sci-fi, it's not the biggest at box office and biggest of critic fanfare.
That changes this year with Dune.
I hope so.
Ian says Revelation was pretty good, but I get why people didn't like the mislead. He-Man was hardly in it, and it was made into a bit of a joke. Revolution is great. Daddy is still upset about Kevin Owens. So those were the TV shows I watched. Did I finish Young Sheldon last week or this week? I don't remember.
You told me you watched it last week, so you would have had to talk about it this week. This show. Last week you were still watching it.
Okay, I finished it. It's good. I'm ready for next year. I did that, and then I watched some movies. I don't remember when I watched these things. I watched Self-Reliance. I think I talked about that though.
Which one's that one?
With Jake Johnson.
Yes, you talked about that last week.
Then Honor Society starts my new week. They need to put the dates on Letterboxd so I know what I'm talking about.
They do. You can do that. Even I know that. You can select the day you watched it. Yeah.
On the list?
Whenever you add a film, there's a date up at the top, and it's today's date, where whichever day you're adding it, but you click on the date and you can put the actual day that you watched it.
I'll have to mess with that later because I don't have that set up right now. I watched a movie called Honor Society. Have you heard of this?
Nope.
So it's got the actress who plays Betty in this Marvel Spider-Man films. She's also in Mean Girls, the musical. She plays the new Katie.
Betty.
Well, anyway, it's her and one of the kids from Stranger Things. It's kind of like Mean Girls, ironically. It was sort of entertaining. It was on Paramount Plus. It had some high ratings, so I checked it out. I think it's kind of funny. I think it's worth a watch, I would say. It's nothing amazing, though. It's kind of just, like I said, it's like Mean Girls.
Fair enough.
But I watched that. I decided to rewatch Joker.
I saw your tweet about that, which is an interesting thing because you've only seen this would have been your second time, right?
Yeah, this is my second time watching it.
Yeah, that when it was 2019, right? That movie.
Yes, October.
Yeah, so that's a long time between watches of something that you didn't enjoy.
Yeah, at the time I was like, nope, we are done. This is once was enough.
Yeah.
I'd seen clips of it since then because there's always clips of this movie. Primarily the talk show scene. So I'd seen that multiple times, maybe like 2 or 3 times. But this is the first time, start to finish, watching the movie, and my opinion really didn't change on it. I don't enjoy it. But what's kind of funny to me is I'm really excited for the sequel.
You say that every time we talk about Joker, there's always that caveat at the end of it.
Yeah,
and I think that's for people who like the first one and didn't think there needed to be a sequel. much like
I still
myself.
don't think there needs to be. Yeah, but I'm
Yeah.
excited. I thought watching it again and disliking it would kind of put a damper on it, but no, I'm
Yeah.
actually maybe more excited because I think it can't get worse for me.
Jeez.
That's kind of where I'm at with it.
Low bar, low bar.
I just don't get it. I don't know. I think Joaquin is great. I've said that before. That's about it.
Hmm.
Uh, oh, Ian finally got to see Poor Things. What an experience! I've gone on about length about it, but I'm glad you got to see it.
Hmm.
Has anyone watched Masters of Air? First two episodes are okay, not sold yet. I want to watch this. Have you watched any of this?
No, I haven't watched it yet. I see the commercials, whatever I'm watching on somewhere, Apple TV commercials will come up, and Austin Butler's face is all over the screen.
All over him and Barry Keoghan are just
Hmm.
there.
Yeah, it's interesting that like I don't think in any of the commercials that I've seen Barry Cogan has any speaking lines in the trailer.
Um,
Um,
I
he's
don't know.
there looking sad a few times, as he does.
He does.
But I
Does
mostly
it well.
just see and hear Austin Butler. He's like the face of the series. It's a good right. Obviously, Elvis and soon to be Dune 2. So they're really putting a hard push on it.
And he's talented. I like Austin
Hmm.
Butler. I think.
Same.
I think I do. Um,
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. How do we know yet? We haven't seen too much of him.
he's great as
Um,
Elvis,
yeah.
and he is in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which is one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, Joker was something. I watched Dumb Money, which was a good watch.
Hmm.
That was kind of a cool thing because it was about that GameStop stock craze that happened during the pandemic, and I
Yep.
remember it happening at the time. I had friends who were engaged in that. I
Mm.
thought they were nuts, but as it goes, the movie was cool though. Anytime I see Paul Dano as like a regular human, it just throws me off
Mm.
because my mind goes to Prisoners and the Riddler, and of
Yep.
course the Girl Next Door. So it's nice to see him do other stuff. I wish I
Hmm.
could think of him more as the Fablemans, but I don't.
Yeah. I think we talked about that last week or the
We
week
did.
before. Like his range
It's
is so broad. I
mhm.
wish we had more Fableman stuff.
Well, I would say Dumb Money might fall more in that category because he's just a normal guy.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, more normal roles for him. Let's see some of that. Maybe he doesn't always need to be the creep.
That's right. I agree with that 100%. I think that's
Much like
true.
Barry Keoghan does. Well, maybe he does need to be the creep because he looks like it. But it says Barry Keoghan is in a lot. Funny because he plays as an American and starts fights with the Brits. Austin Butler's so freaking cool.
Mm.
Yeah, I'll check it out when I get some time. But Dumb Money was good. And then to round out my week, I rewatched Only Lovers Left Alive, which is one of my favorite vampire movies. Good time.
Don't know that one.
It's kind of like I would compare it to Interview with the Vampire because it's not really a horror movie. It's kind of just what would these kind of characters do day to day. That's basically what it is. And it is
What are
very
they?
melancholy, is the way I would describe it.
Okay. Yeah.
It's got Tom Hiddleston, Tilda Swinton, Jeffrey
Mm.
Wright's actually in it, Anton Yelchin.
Tom Hiddleston and Tilda Swinton look like vampires in real life. So
It's funny with her. I don't think there's any makeup. I think it's just her. With him, it's kind of his Loki look. So yeah, it's just there. It works. There's
that's
hardly
funny.
any makeup needed. But it's one of my favorites. I think it's a really good time. It falls more in the category of the vampire than it would like Lost Boys.
Mm. How old is that's from the 90s at some point? Or
2013, I think.
oh wow.
Yeah, 2013.
Hmm.
It's good stuff.
I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah. So those are my watches. That was a lot.
Nice. That was. You had a busy week. I'm surprised.
I just forced the time.
Yeah, where
It was one of those weeks where I just forced the time.
yeah, see, I didn't do any of those things. Because I watched one TV show. I was watched more of Beef this week with Steve Yen and Ali Wong.
Mm-hmm.
Slowly making my way through that. And then I watched Roadhouse for the first time, but I'm not going to spoil too much of that because Chris
Oh, you
and I are
already
going to
watched
talk.
it?
Yeah, I did. I watched it on Friday.
Oh, that's what
Actually.
you told me.
Yeah, so Chris and I are going to talk about that later at some point this week. Keep watch on your podcast and YouTube feeds. when we do a little movie night, because we hadn't watched Roadhouse before, and they just released the trailer for the new movie with Jake Gyllenhaal. So my watches, I thought the trailer looked pretty cool as well. So my watches were pretty limited this week. A lot of Food Network. I was exceptionally lazy this week watching anything for some reason. But I saw that Aquaman 2 is on digital to rent or buy now, so I think I'm going to check that out soon. And I still want to try and make some time and watch Killers of the Flower Moon as well. Maybe I can see if I can find some time for that this week. Those are kind of the well, that's the thing. It feels like I have to force myself to watch that movie, just because of the length of it. And I think a little bit of the material too. I actually haven't seen too many people talking about the material of Killers of the Flower Moon with the Native Americans and the indigenous community.
I don't know if I have
like either. Obviously, like I know what's her name, Lily Gladstone's obviously nominated for the Oscar and already won some awards for it, but I haven't heard. I guess I haven't really read too many reviews about it. Any kind of blurbs that I read about the movie are always just Scorsese, Gladstone, DiCaprio. I haven't heard too many people talk about the themes of the movie or the setting of the movie or anything like that. So I'm actually very interested in that going into watching the movie.
That's a good point. I haven't heard anybody talk about the story now that you mentioned it.
Yeah.
I just hear about the performances.
I don't even know what the story is. I have no idea what the story's about. So
I didn't think about that. I've only heard about the performances. Yeah, I want to see it too. I just haven't had time. I did get Apple Plus or Apple TV Plus, so I have it now. I'll get to it.
Yeah. You got all these streaming services. You might as well watch the big heavy hitters on it.
I might as
just
well
get rid of the service.
That's the plan.
like AMC.
Yeah, we're gonna do that again later this year.
Yes. Yep. Setting itself
I'm hoping
up,
they throw Napoleon on there though before I get rid of it.
Oh yeah, when do you think that's coming?
I would hope soon. It's been streaming for a while on on demand. So.
Right. Yeah, so pretty minimal watches for me this week. Chris, do you have any one-off reads that you want to talk about before we talk about the big boy in the room?
I read Batman Brave and the Bold. Well, I read the one story, the Tom King Joker thing.
Yeah. Preface this and we can both preface it. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's the whole book. I don't care what else is in there. It's great. I did read that. That was a really good conclusion to that story, but weird. It was weird. I don't know if you agree with that. Like Batman
I didn't have the weird feeling about it. I just had the more of the awesome feeling of I love this Joker. I love the way this Joker is presented and the way he talks. The big thing that surprised me is the stuff like after all the big fighting happens between Batman and Joker, and then it's just Bruce Wayne and what's his name that looked like John Bernthal.
Yeah, I thought that too. It looks exactly like John Bernthal.
Yeah, it's just John Bernthal.
Kind of like John Hamm.
Yeah, exactly. Which is kind of fun to think about in an alternate universe.
Because I think Bernthal would be a great Harvey Dent.
Yeah, exactly. So seeing them talk and that stuff that Garrett's was doing with, showing what, like the shadows on Bruce's face, his eyes are white like Batman, and that kind of thing. So that kind of surprised me that the action happened with the Joker, and then there was this kind of I don't know what do you call it, the epilogue afterwards kind of story. But I loved the story. I thought it was kind of a bummer that there was such a long break between issue 3 and issue 4.
Yeah, it felt like a while.
It felt like a long time, and it felt like 3 was the ending of it. But like you said, it was the only story I read from Brave and the Bold. I think I read early on there was an Ed Brisson story. I think I tried to read that one, but after a while I just got too enamored with the Tom King and Mitch Garrett stuff.
It's hard to look away from their stuff.
It is. It just was so good, even with the weird toilet Joker. I love
the weird toilet Joker. I don't know why you hate it. It's awesome. Phil says the Joker, the villain, is even more popular than the hero. I think Phil's on something with this. The Joker, I believe, has kind of overtaken Batman's spot in pop culture. Him and Harley are, I think, just as big or bigger than Batman at this point.
Yeah, it'll be interesting when they get around to doing the Batman 2 if they leave the Joker out of it, because like obviously in Batman Begins, there's still the card
Mm-hmm.
of Joker. In the Dark Knight, obviously, Dark Knight Rises, I think more or less out of respect, there was no Joker. But then pretty much everything we've seen with a Batman in it, BVS even has the the Robin suit with the ha 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 on it, and Jared Leto and all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be interesting if they can do one without the other in some way or form, and see if that still works. See if Batman still works without the Joker. It'll be interesting to see how that works, because I think you're right. I think there's a line where people are more interested to see a Joker story than a Batman story, or a Joker actor than seeing a Batman actor. Like I don't know. Do you think the casting of the DCEU Joker is more exciting to you than the Batman casting for the DCEU?
No, I'm more interested in the Batman, but you can't have one without the other, I think.
Yeah.
I think they just come as a set. That's the way it works.
Mm-hmm.
But Ian asked, "Do you see Barry being? Oh, did you see Barry being asked about the Joker's reaction? Was quite telling. He's in it in some capacity." Yes, I did see that. I think he's doing press for Masters of Air, if I had to guess. And he does that thing every actor does when they can't say anything, and then he makes a smile kind of gesture.
Yeah, that's right. His eyes do all the talking.
Yeah, he's going to be in some capacity. It's getting to a point where he's actually the only thing I want out of the sequel. I want to see the Joker.
That's interesting.
And I think that's just because I really like Barry. I like him in everything I've seen him in. So
yeah, you're hot on Barry right now for sure.
Yeah, I think most people are. No, we both watched True Detective. I guess I've got to mention it.
Yeah, I just don't know if it's a week by week talk about kind of show.
Yeah, because it's a mystery thing. I don't know who's seen it, who hasn't yet. But I will say this: the opening was shocking, to say the least, of this week's episode or last week's.
What was the opening?
When they're examining the ice.
I thought it was the stupid idiots, the cops, taking pictures and broke the guy's arm off. Like, oh my god! Like that.
It was something else. But anyway, yeah. So Brave and the Bold, the Joker story was good. I read that. We both read. Is it called Ghost Machine or Ghost Wire? What is this thing called?
So it's called Ghost Machine #1, and it's the I don't know, the universe that they're making now, or the, what do you call it? The imprint is called Ghost Machine. So like, there's going to be no further books called Ghost Machine after this. There's going to be Red Coat, and there's going to be Geiger, and there's going to be what's that one? Rook or Sook or Look?
Rook Exodus.
Rook. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's Ghost Machine #1, kind of an anthology type series, letting us know what's coming out for all the Jeff Johns books.
So he says I missed a question. Whoa. Let me scroll. Oh, here we go. Question for the stream. Does Zeddy have a better chance at A, convincing Emmet to go to the movie theater more than 3 times, B, a date with Sasha Calle, C, win the lottery, D, coffee with CM Punk?
Hey?
I
will bet you I will go to the movie theaters 3 times this year for sure. I can guarantee it.
Ghostbusters, Despicable Me, the little guy.
That's right. And Dune 2. Done. I'll be done by July.
What about Deadpool?
No, I won't be going to see Deadpool in theater. So yeah, I guarantee.
Hey, Phil. I really like the Geiger vs. Ghost Machine. Was mostly a good read. I don't know. I think that, this is just my opinion, I think John's better writing days are kind of behind him.
Ooh, there's a big take.
I don't know. Well, it's like, I think that he did so many good things with certain characters, like his Flash run, his Green Lantern run, Aquaman, all that stuff. And then he gets like the Earth 1 books. Volume 1 is one of my favorite Batman stories. Volume 2 is okay. I think Volume 3 should be thrown in a bonfire. And then just some of his other stuff, I don't know. I thought that Geiger thing is interesting. I don't exactly get it, but that's fine. I think the Rook story was what caught my eye more. And that was more of a visual thing. I think Jason Fabok's doing the art on that one.
Yeah.
So I was kind of glued to that thing.
Mm-hmm.
I also liked the Hyde story, the Hyde Street
That
thing.
one. Oh, that was one I didn't actually like, so that's good.
It was extremely vague. I don't even know what it is, but I think I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of curious about that red coat thing.
Yeah.
The only story I really did not like was that family thing they had, because I didn't get it. The family from the future.
I'm gonna have to.
Oh, and the kids playing baseball. I didn't get that either.
I totally just blanked me what you're talking
Phil
about.
said, "I'm just gonna go see all the Sony Marvel movies for sure."
Jeez, Phil, you know me so well.
I mean, you don't want to see Craven or Venom 3 at least?
That's a hard no, sir.
Hard no? Okay.
I just gotta look at this. Okay, so there's the guy.
At this point.
There's the Geiger story, the Red Coat story, the Rook Exodus, Family Odysseys, which is the Rocket Fellers.
That's why I didn't
Hornsby and Halo, and then Hyde Street stuff. That's okay. So that's towards the end.
I didn't like Hornsby and Halo either.
Yeah. Okay. So those are the stories towards the end, which is by that time, I definitely had lost interest.
Yeah, I don't think I'm actually going to pick any of these books up. I think the preview was probably enough.
Yeah, and that's I assume that's could probably mean to be a bummer. Well, the Family Odysseys. Yeah, they're they're telling like they got like their own family, so kids can read it. It's like a family verse because it says the Ghost Machine's family universe is full of fun, heart, and heroics and humor. It's a wonderful, vibrant world of relatable characters and extraordinary circumstances, all focusing on the importance of family, both born and found. So they're making like a family friendly comic book universe out of this Ghost Machine stuff.
Yeah, I don't think I'm into it. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see, but I don't think I'm into it.
No, that's fine. Yeah, I like the Red Coat stuff. That's from the stuff that I had read.
I thought the Red Coat thing was cool. Yeah.
Yeah, like I already read the first Geiger. I'll read Geiger again. What's come, but the Red Coat stuff, the kind of this time traveling, Civil War,
immortal people.
Yeah, exactly. That sounds more interesting. That sounds pretty exciting to me.
Did you see the trailer for Monkey Man?
I did.
What'd you think about it? I didn't get to watch it. I've seen like stills of it. I think that Jordan Peele's behind it, so I'm just in automatically.
Mm-hmm.
But what did you think about the trailer?
Yeah, I thought the trailer looked incredible. I thought that the visualization and the direction from Dev Patel, which is kind of cool. I thought the movie looks incredible. The colors look great. The vibe, the scenery. I thought it looked incredible. And like, what are they saying? It's like the Indian John Wick or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Something like that. So he's on a revenge story. I think somebody kills his mother or something happens to his mother, and then he goes on a revenge trip, a la John Wick. So yeah, I think it looks like a lot of fun. I think it looks like a good time, and I think it just looks visually quite striking.
Cool. Like I said, I was in because Jordan Peele is involved. So I thought the visual I saw of like the monkey mask, that just looks neat.
Yep.
And the story behind it is cool too. How he was actually just going to give it to Netflix. I think it was one of the streamers.
Yeah.
And Jordan Peele's like, no, let's put this in theaters.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Theatrical for the win, if you ask me. So yeah, I will check it out, and I'll eventually see the trailer. I'm sure it'll be in front of something. Oh, okay, here. Ian's got the story for it. It was apparently straight to Netflix, but Peele liked it so much he asked for it to get a theatrical release. Looks good, but not sure about Dev Patel doing action. I think he'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'll be good. How's the Batman Beyond box set? Still shiny as a shoebox?
Yep, still good.
Trailer does look incredible. Yeah, I think that's all I read. I started to read some kind of indie Van Helsing book, but I'd stopped.
Indie Van Helsing?
Yeah, I'll get to it later. At some point.
At some point.
Yeah, at some point. I'll circle back to it when I remember.
I'm not sure if I read anything else other than the big one.
Oh, the Avengers Twilight book turned out pretty good.
Is there another one that I'm behind on again?
I don't think so.
Oh, so I'm still good. I still got time then.
You
You're
still
good.
got
Okay.
time.
I still got time. One book I want to start reading again was New Burn
What's that?
from Chip Zdarsky and Jacob Phillips. It's kind of a crime drama mystery type of deal. It's on issue 14 already, and I read issue 1 and I liked it, and then I don't know what happened and I stopped reading it.
That sounds
But it's going,
familiar.
and maybe yeah, and so it's going on 14 issues now. So that's when I wanted to hop back on again.
Sounds familiar. I feel like we might have both read that.
Yeah, it would have been a while ago that first issue came out. All right, so let's talk about Dracula, Universal Monsters number 4. That was so I actually had to pay for this comic digitally, which I'm sorry, kind of saying begrudgingly because it's so hard to find. Review copies weren't sent out, on very legal comic downloading sites. It was hard to find as well. But so I actually got my hands on Dracula number 4.
Which cover
to
did
read.
you
So
get?
Chris, what?
Yeah,
Just
digital.
whatever.
Okay.
Digital, yeah, just whatever. That Jenny Frison one, which I think is the one you got,
Yeah,
was so good, so good. Yeah. So Chris, what'd you think about the finale for this first Universal Monsters series?
I think that was a fantastic read from start to finish. The finale is really cool. It follows the movie to a fault, actually. That's if I have, it's not a problem for me, but I do wonder if it's a problem for people who are not familiar with the movie because if you've read the other 3 issues, it doesn't take from the book; it takes from the movie.
Okay.
And so what the final issue does is
you're talking about the 39 Dracula, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, well, Bella's the 31.
Yeah. Yep.
So the book assumes that you are familiar and kind of skips over pieces to get to where it's at. I mean, they show you something visually, but it's not as good as having it in the book, if that makes sense. But because I know the movie, it's like, oh, okay, I could put this together. It's fine for me. But it has some jaw-droppingly beautiful splash pages. Like it's gorgeous, and I'm glad that's one of the reasons I actually bought it physical because I bought the 3rd issue physically because I wanted a certain cover, couldn't get the cover, and then with this one I wanted it because of how much I like the other one. So this finale was very fitting. I liked the way it followed everything. The art is beautiful. And I think when you read them 1 through 4 in a sitting, it works really, really well. I think they did a great job with this opening story. And Renfield has some great stuff in this because they expand upon something in the movie that I guess you just kind of don't think about. But there's some he says where, you can kill him, but he's always around. And I wonder if that's leaving it open for a sequel of some sort.
Yeah, I was surprised the ending didn't say like the end for now or the end ... or something.
Well,
like that.
I get it. They're following the movie. It's cool.
So the splash pages, I'll jump off that one. I would agree with that 100%. Like towards the start, there's the one where Drac gives Renfield the mouse or the rat, which is quite incredible. But then towards the end with Van Helsing and Dracula and the cross stake, right to Dracula's heart. That one was incredible. And we talk about this every time we talk about this series, but how lukewarm we were on the art from Martin Simmons to start, but how the more we read it and the more we got used to it and how it fit the story, I think was great. So I love the art. So the title of the episode is about poor sad Renfield, and one of the things that I wasn't expecting from the ending was the actual pulling on the heartstrings and the sadness of the Doctor and Renfield during Renfield's final moments. Like, what does he say? Let me go in grace, or something like that.
He's kind of like begging for forgiveness in a way.
Yeah, he's begging for forgiveness and also begging to be saved. Also, the understanding of who he is to Dracula, for all this time. Exactly, he understood his role after so long of thinking that Dracula cares for him and loves him in a certain way. and then by the end of the story, Renfield, has this, the epiphany of who he really is to Dracula. So that was quite a surprise to me, having not seen. I don't know if that's the what you're talking about with the stuff that goes to a fault to the movie. I
No,
don't know
it's the
if this
middle point. But
Renfield being sad and being held by the doctor and talking about being forgiven and just letting me go. I thought that was pretty striking for me.
yeah, I like that a lot too. I think the dialogue. I mean, Tynion always delivers with dialogue. I think, even if you don't really like his stories, the dialogue is usually really well done. I think that's just my opinion on him. And this is a showcase of his dialogue skills. That particular bit with Renfield is really, really well done.
Yeah,
And
and
it complements
the
the
whole
art
thing.
too.
Yeah, like just like him about being human. Like the final thing he says is, "I'm still damned, but I'm damned. I'm a damned human, not some other thing." It's like it's just. I thought the words and the dialogue was just right on point in this issue. And again, it surprised me again how little Dracula is in this final issue. Like he's in it, he's lying around for most of it and giving Renfield a rat or whatever. But like him talking and doing a lot of things, it's not the forefront of this book. And the way it ends with the Renfield and the Doctor thing, that just emphasizes how little this Universal's Monsters Dracula comic book was not full focused on Dracula and his every day and every moment that he has in his castle or with Mina or anything like that.
And I like that. I like keeping him
Mm.
in the background for this because we
Okay.
have the movie to see him in the forefront. And this acts like a
Okay.
companion piece to the movie.
Hmm.
So that totally works for me. I,
Hmm.
I kind of think that this, we talk about who's this book made for. It might be made for just the really big fans of the movie. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Like it's for someone who hasn't seen the Lugosi Dracula, again, something I've been saying for the two past Halloweens that I want to get to.
This Halloween
Um,
one,
yeah, this it's gonna happen this year.
it's
Um,
happening.
yeah, like this is a perfect standalone. Having not watched any kind of series, like I
Mhm.
think it helps a little bit because they don't go into like it's only 4 issues. They could have done. There could have been 2, 3 more issues of
You
this
could have
series. I
chronicled the
think.
whole thing, but I prefer
Yeah.
it like this. I think this was a great way to do
Hmm.
it.
Okay.
And it makes me very curious how the next ones are going to go. We know, like we've talked about, the creatures coming. I'd
Hmm.
say it's a guarantee Frankenstein or the Bride or both are coming.
Hmm.
So I'm very curious to see how this continues because it's a cool idea.
Hmm. Well, yeah, and we were talking about. I think we talked about this offline, but the Creature from the Black Lagoon is a sequel to the movie.
Right.
Which is interesting. Whereas the Dracula feels like it's not a sequel; it's a retelling of the story,
Mm-hmm.
Dracula. So they're
Sort of.
not doing them the same way. They're not working in the same vein. It's just if hey guys, if you have a story to tell about the Universal monsters, tell that story,
Mm-hmm.
whichever way you want to take it. So I think that's a really interesting way to do it.
Yeah, it's good to let the creators kind of do what they want to do. They have a certain way they want to tell. Let them do it. I think that's a really big deal too. Because
Hmm.
it's not like these characters are beholden to anything specific. You can do what you want with them.
Hmm.
Nobody's childhood's going to get ruined here.
Yeah, and that's a fair thought. We're talking about a Joker that we were just talking about, Barry Keoghan, where his face is all cut up, and he's very different from what we know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do people really know who are reading comics? I would say know about 1939 Bela Lugosi Dracula.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if there. And there's been so much Dracula since then, very different versions of Dracula, than what we've seen from Bela Lugosi. So yeah, I think you can take liberties if you want. You can do a take. I think.
Yeah, and not a well. I think you can do a take with any character, of course, but some characters throughout literary history and just even comic books and stuff, I think people are more accepting of takes depending on the character. But you could do a take with anything and anyone, and if it's good, it's good. It'll stick.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that with horror characters specifically, they're constantly reinvented.
Yes.
Just like comic books. I mean, every comic book writer and artist bring their own take. So, with the case of horror, every director and writer bring their own take. It just happens.
Yeah.
And not every take is going to hit for everybody.
Nope. Yeah, so we've got the hardcover edition coming out. You sent that to me a couple of days ago. That's coming out in May. That's going to be a day. I got to find that as soon as possible. I think it's going to look incredible in hardcover. I like that you got some of the singles. I wish I early on got some of the singles because it sold out very quickly at my comic shop. I can't find them anymore. But yeah, the hardcover, I think it's going to look great.
I think so too. I'm pretty excited for that. I mentioned I want to start collecting this year, so
yeah, nice.
That is a hardcover I want.
Well, yeah, that seems fair. Like you don't have to collect everything in the world, but
no,
the Dracula story,
certain stuff.
Pretty simple.
Certain stuff I just want.
What have we got any comments to bring up there, Chris? Anything to talk about?
I think we're just listening to us drone on about stuff.
Yeah. That seems fair. That sounds like us.
Yeah, usually. What are you looking forward to this week?
Yeah, that's what I was just looking at. Comic books. We got Somna #2 coming out this week.
Yeah.
We're gonna get that.
That is not always the case, Eric, but most of the time it is.
Well, I think that is the case. Is that not the case? You won't watch or read anything if it's vampire related?
No, there's stuff I won't watch.
I don't believe it.
I've done my time watching enough B movies. Like I know, okay, I'm not gonna watch this.
I've done my time.
I've done my time.
I put my time in.
I've done it. I'm finished with that.
Yeah, okay. So Somna #2 is out this week. We got not much really. There's that Kid Cudi book, that Moon Man. Have you heard about that one?
No, what's that?
Let's see if I can bring up the thing here. Yeah, superstar Kid Cudi makes his comic debut. Roman is ready for a quiet life. Whatever went wrong in that failed moon mission, whatever happened in the missing minutes the cameras didn't capture, all he really wants is to settle down back home. But those missing minutes held on an earth-shattering secret. With all eyes turned on him, Roman will soon find himself become something the world has never seen before. So that's quite ominous, but it's a comic book written by Kid Cudi. So if that kind of gets you excited.
It doesn't, but I like the way it sounds.
And then we got The Devil That Wears My Face #4. That's out this week.
Very excited for that.
Catch up on that. Yeah, that's it for comic books. So kind of a slower one. Watches. So I'm going to try and get to Aquaman 2 and Killers of the Flower Moon. What's that?
There was a burst of comics at the start of the month. I think now we're getting what's left. Although Somna 2, I think, is one of the bigger titles that's coming. Ian says Moon Man is one of my most anticipated. How do you pronounce that? Kid Cudi?
Kid Cudi.
Yeah, okay. Well, great music, and I strongly recommend Intergalactic. Yeah, I think I'll read that. Not because of the guy, but it sounds interesting to me.
You love those issue #1s, Chris.
Yeah. Well, sometimes they work. Sometimes I read more. I've read so much. I really want to track down Rare Flavors because, I know we mentioned this, but it's something we would probably like. It's Ron B.
There should be no reason that we're not reading it. I'm really not sure why we aren't.
Yeah, I think we should try it.
I got to see how close it is to being done.
I think it's about a restaurant or something. I don't know what it's about. I'm assuming restaurant because it's called Rare Flavors.
Okay, so the whole thing for the cover is discover the tantalizing tale of Reuben Bacchus, a demonic rock shah with a down-to-earth dream of being the next Anthony Bourdain.
Yeah, food.
So I don't know. He does a whole bunch of things. So the first trade comes out in August. Issue #5 comes out in April. So I don't know if that's the ending of it. There's just one issue left without the money. Yeah, so it's only got 5 issues. The 5th issue's out in April.
I do like cannibals.
I don't see anything about cannibals in here.
They're probably hiding it.
Maybe. So yeah, first issue was September, second October, the third was in December. Then it's on a break till February, and then a long break until April. So it's got a very strange release schedule coming.
As Ron B does. Well, he's busy with Detective too, so I get it.
He's busy doing lots of things, that's for sure.
He's a busy dude.
Busy.
Yeah, I think I might try to check that out this week.
Okay. What are you going to add to your letterbox this week?
On Twitter, I saw our buddy Grabs talking about a movie called Yesterday, that Beatles movie.
Right. We talked about that a couple weeks ago, that we should probably get around to try and watch that, because I think, we were talking about the Beatles for some reason.
Yeah, so I think I'm going to get to that this week.
Nice.
That I might get to Aquaman too, but we'll see. I really don't care.
Yep.
And we'll go from there. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there was a movie this week that I wanted to see in theaters, but I can't remember what it was. I don't know. I thought it was Lisa Frankenstein, but that's next week.
Oh yeah, you got your tickets all sorted out for that, eh?
Yep. Oh, Argyle. That's what I want to see this week.
Oh yeah, you should love that movie.
Yeah, I think
I don't know why. I watched the trailer for that and I'm like, Chris is gonna love this movie. It's got spies in it. It's got Henry Cavill in it. Like, what's going on here?
There's a cute cat. It's got Sam Rockwell.
Right.
And Boy George does the song for it. I'm there.
Oh geez, just keep adding to the Christmas.
Oh yeah, and Matthew Bond. I'm gonna love this film. This is what it is.
Yeah.
As they said, I just realized I watched 10 films in 3 nights at the Sundance Film Festival. God, I love 90-minute movies. That's a lot of movies, Eddie.
That's too many movies in 3 nights.
Like what you like. I don't know if I would retain any knowledge from them, though. If I'm watching 10 movies, exactly. I would think they blend together.
Yep. That wouldn't happen for me.
Ian says Yesterday's a fun watch. The 49ers are going to the Super Bowl. But when is the Deadpool 3 trailer, Phil?
Phil, focus.
When is the Deadpool trailer?
When is the Super Bowl? That's in 2 weeks?
The 11th. I think it's the 11th.
Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah, next week is the 4th and then the 11th. Yeah, so it's the one where everyone else is watching the Super Bowl.
Volume 3, I guess is what we'll call it.
That's right. Volume 3, exactly. For the 3rd year in a row. All right. All right, Chris. That's it for the show tonight. Where can people find you?
You guys can follow me on Twitter at thatchris70. You can also follow the podcast I do with my buddies Phil Walsh and Anthony Caruso over at DC Unlimited Pod on Twitter. And as always, I would love it if you follow this show at G of the Geeks. Emmet is better with the rest of the plug, so he will take over.
You can follow me on Twitter if you so choose at EmmettDavis7. Gathering of the Geeks. Please follow, like, subscribe, comment, whatever you guys want to do. But make sure you let people know about Gathering of the Geeks and where they can find it. It's on podcast platforms and on YouTube. Just search Gathering of the Geeks, and you'll find us all right there. Thanks to Eric, Zeddy, Phil and Phil, Ian, Cookie. Is that everybody?
Carlos was with us for a second.
Carlos, thanks so much for watching on this another fine Sunday evening. And for saying all that, next week we are going to be switching our show. Switching our show from the Sydney Sweeney Stan account. We're going to be switching it to the Taylor Swift Stan account, trying to get some more of those viewers, everybody. So show up again next week just to see what happens. It'll be exactly the same amount of Sydney Sweeney content as there was, or it's going to be the exact amount of Taylor Swift content as there was Sydney Sweeney content this week. So in saying all that, for Chris and I'm Emmet, and we gather on Sundays.
Have a good week, guys.